Welcome to this episode again, Coffee with Charles. My name is Charles Wachira, and today we are going to tackle questions regarding relationships. When we come back, I'll be introducing my guest here today, who is joining me to help me tackle these questions. So just stand there and we'll be right back after this break. I recently discovered my wife has been cheating with another guy. Now I remember why my family used to fight her.
When it's ministry work, there has to be boundaries. How do we communicate? How frequently do we communicate? How open is that communication? So that your spouse does not feel as if you're doing something behind him.
Welcome back to Coffee with Charles. As I said earlier, my name is Charles Wachira, and today I'm happy to be joined by Rosie Wachira here, a counseling psychologist. Karibu sana.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm glad to be on the show.
Okay, Karibu. She's going to help me answer these questions. These are questions, if you want your questions answered, there's a WhatsApp number down there. You can always send a message, or you can go to the comment section and put your question there. You can also remember to like our channel, subscribe, and hit the notification bell if you want to get this content when it comes out. So let's get on to our questions today. Okay, so number one question here. Hi Charles, I'm a man currently married for 3 years. My family did not want me to marry her, and they fought her for a long time. I recently discovered my wife has been cheating with another guy. Now I remember why my family used to fight her, saying her character was flawed. What do I do? You know, basically, I've heard these stories across people we meet at times whose parents don't necessarily advocate for someone you're marrying. You take a guy home, a lady home, and your father and mother are not really buying the story. What I really say at times is, instead of dismissing it immediately and saying, hey, where was I, Amwelewi? At times I just take time and ask them hard questions like, why is it that you are saying I should not marry this lady or I should not marry this guy? What are you seeing? In this story, the guy says they were talking about character. Then my question would be, what did they see in this guy's character? In this lady's character. So was it something genuine? Amatuni, these things like parents at times are biased. Maybe they don't want that tribe. Maybe they don't want somebody because of how they look or where they're coming from or what they do in life. But maybe just to take time and hear. If the reasons are genuine, then you need to consider what they are saying. If the reasons are fake and just biased or cultural biasness, maybe you need to think about it and make a decision. Because you will live with the consequences, whether they are good or bad. You're the one marrying. So basically at times it goes well. But for this case, later it seems that this girl came out and cheated. So he's wondering what to do. And I would advise you maybe now is when you see that character flaw they had seen. So it's maybe a bit too late. The advice I've been given earlier has come to pass. But right now, if she's cheating with another guy, means she has already, decided to cross over to the other side. That's what I would say for now. You have a choice to make, whether you will leave that marriage or whether you reconcile or whether you'll work on it. But maybe the step you'd have seen earlier was why they had said no. What do you think, Rosie?
Okay, for me, I believe love grows on knowledge. And the fact that both the man and the woman should have done their research on the person that they want to marry before they get married. So they're able to make an informed choice about the person. So I can say he did not do that. But also there are things, at times when things don't work out, we tend to look for a reason or an explanation as to why it's not working. So maybe for him, he's falling back on the fact that the parents didn't want the girl. And he's using that now to justify probably his next, or to inform his next course of action. For me, I'd ask him to take some time and just think about their marriage, think about whether that marriage can be salvaged, what are the costs or the steps that he can take to help him clarify the decision that he wants to make. So if it's saving his marriage, maybe they need to go see a counselor, see whether they can figure it out and work it out. So before he throws in the towel, he must be decisive, not to fall back on what the parents say, but also what does he want for himself and for his life. So that when he's charting his way forward, he's charting his way forward based on a conclusive decision, based on knowledge, and also for the future that he desires for himself and his family.
Okay. Would you say that some people believe that, hey, maybe my parents refused, so I'm cursed. So maybe this is a curse coming to bite him. Is that really something that happens when the parents say no?
I think it's a belief. It's in some cases it's a myth. Because at times, if you believe in something, then you give it power over yourself, over your life. So a curse cannot affect you with no probable reason or cause.
Yes.
You understand? So for him, it's just also to analyze it that way. Could it be that he believes it's a curse? Why would he think it's a curse? Is there a reason that is making him feel that he's cursed? And then go back to the parents in humility and probably try to ask them, why were you fighting this girl? What is it that you saw that I hadn't seen? And was I blinded by the notion that I'm in love, that I forgot to remember that love is not just a feeling, it's a choice, it's a decision, and it must be based on knowledge.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you. Let me go to question number 2. Dear Charles, my wife got a job that's paying her well. And since then, she has changed. Now she does her things without telling me. I discovered she has bought plots behind my back. Before, I used to take care of her when she had no job. Now she's behaving like this. Do I leave her? Question mark. Well, it seems like you are saying you used to work before, it seems. You used to take care of her, and even probably you're still working. But now she got a good job. She has started living her life independently. Because money is something that empowers. And money, at times we say, doesn't come to make you become someone you are not. Money only brings out who you were before. You know, if you didn't have power to be who you are, money is one of the things that can give you power to become who you really were. Maybe it was just hidden because you didn't have power. So this lady is now empowered. She has a nice paying job. She has started doing the things she dreamt of. She's buying plots behind your back. And it seems like maybe your relationship, there was no conversation maybe to sit down and plan your life. I don't know as a man what you are doing before and what you are buying, what you did together. It's not well written. We can't tell. But it seems she's now independent and she's beginning to chart her path. Well, maybe before, whether you did your own things independently and now she's revenging, maybe quote unquote, in her marriage, we don't know. But mainly, if you are maybe faithful and you are budgeting together, you're planning together, it could be a character in her that feels that now, hey, she always wanted to do that. And women at times are advised, jipange, put your money aside. You never know, when marriage fails, utakuwa sawa. There's that talk in town. But I would advise you, it's not time to leave. There's no reason to leave. If you still have your job and you're still eating, you're still living in one roof, maybe when you have children, I would just advise, sit down. The key is always to budget. Put that money, have a budget, work together. If you're buying those plots, I don't know if she's buying on her own behind your back, but since you have discovered, have a sit down and have a conversation. If she wants to go on that way, then there's a problem that you need to talk about or what's happening. You really need to communicate, sit down, and if it's not working, involve someone else, whether it's a counselor or whether you want to involve your a person you trust, a person you can confide in and can help you, someone mature, someone you trust to help you resolve this thing. But if it goes that way, then probably you guys will go this way financially, and I don't know how you'll manage your relationship, but probably I would advise it's time to sit down, plan together, and see what you can do together. I don't know what you want to say, Rosie.
I think you said it all. Yes.
What would you tell the, or why would that woman be doing that?
Personally, as a woman, I would say maybe she doesn't feel safe sharing with her husband, and that probably should just be addressed. But also, it might be that I'm misinformed or misguided, that I believe I need to secure my future. I'm not so sure that I can fully depend on the husband. Or maybe the husband, when he had his money, fine, he was sorting me out, but he was sorting me out in a way that made me really feel bad. So, as a woman, for the man, I'd advise him to have a sit down with the wife, just talk to her, ask her, tell her your concerns, raise it as a concern, and then try and find whether you can find a middle ground to work together.
Okay. All right. Let's see this third question. Okay. But he shouldn't leave. It's not gonna solve anything. My husband recently started attending a certain church. He has now become very committed. As much as I want him to attend the church, I've noticed that he has a very close relationship with the pastor. The pastor is a flashy female pastor. They keep calling each other many times. And when I ask, he says it's just ministry. What do I do?
Wow, ministry. For me, I'd say that the husband needs to set boundaries. Because you see, even though we all define ministry very differently. And I think from the definition of ministry, then it informs how we do it. So if I believe ministry is personally tied to a pastor in a church, and that my proximity or closeness to the pastor equals my commitment or closeness to God, then I would strive and be very close to that pastor. But the husband needs to understand that the wife is communicating something to him. The fact that the wife is uncomfortable with that relationship means it's not okay. So they need to sit down and agree. And for the husband, just to ask himself, what is it that he's looking for in this pastor that he is not getting at home? Or maybe he's striving to get something that he shouldn't be. You understand? Yes. So for him, because it's the husband who now is getting overly close to a female pastor, and since the female pastor is not part of this marriage, the husband and the wife need to sit down and discuss that issue and agree on the way forward. So that they agree. We have to set boundaries, even when whether it's ministry or work. There has to be boundaries. How do we communicate? How frequently do we communicate? How open is that communication? So that your spouse does not feel as if you're doing something behind their back.
So the thing you're raising here is boundaries. And at times we cross those boundaries. So what is happening here, there's a lot of calls, and that can be a line you are crossing. A husband is calling a female pastor too many times. And the female pastor is okay on the other side. And number two, the woman, the wife has noticed, and this can be also the other way.
The reverse.
The wife is calling the pastor too much, and this happens.
True.
So boundaries, when they are crossed, a spouse notices, and a spouse speaks out. But it seems like people always justify like it's just ministry. So this then later there's a lot of problem.
True.
So should the wife, if the husband can't hear, should the wife go and tell the flashy pastor, hey, step off my husband, what can they do? Because at times he's so desperate.
Yeah, I think at times that becomes very tricky.
Yes.
Because she may approach the pastor and she may just say, there's no problem. You understand? But if that church has other pastors, maybe it's just to get a neutral person to talk to and communicate and go as a couple. So that if it's ministry, then let's do ministry together. Maybe just join the husband and see what that ministry is about. You understand? But also the pastor should understand that when you are engaging a person who's married, that person comes with a spouse. So you need to be discerning and also wise in how you engage your congregation, especially the saved ones, the married ones, and of the opposite gender, so that there's no misunderstanding or anything that seems to be off. And if there is, then you need to re-examine yourself and ask yourself, how best can I relate with my congregants of the opposite sex without bringing problems within their marriage?
Very true. Very true. We have a message for that flashy pastor. Hey, wachana huyo bwana ya mtu. Tafadhali.
Na mabwana wachani flashy pastors.
Yeah. Nowadays you can't even recognize their pastors anymore. They are very flashy. All right, number 4. Dear Charles, I'm currently not financially stable. I have an online business where I sell shoes and clothes, but it's not been able to sustain my expenses well. On the other hand, I have a girlfriend who has been pressuring me to marry her, saying that I am delaying her, and she has threatened to quit the relationship if I don't marry her. I have tried to explain to her that I cannot sustain her in a marriage with my current income, and that we should wait. She is also not working. What should I do? I don't want to lose her. What can you tell this guy? He's not financially, strong, but the girl wants to be married.
I tell the man that the decision still remains with him. He still must want to get married, and he should not be coerced or forced into marriage. And if he feels unprepared, then he should communicate that. But if the lady threatens, maybe just let her go. Maybe she's not yet there. Where, marriage is not just a wedding day. It's day-to-day living, which is really, really hard. Understand? So if the lady is so eager to get married, oblivious of the fact that they still need an income that will sustain that marriage, then I think she may not be prepared for marriage and the realities of marriage. So part of the thing that would help is probably counseling. For me, I'd say counseling in a sense that you go to a counselor who will help you understand the realities of marriage and why this guy, where you need to eat, and the importance of really being financially, at least you not well off, but at least stable as you enter marriage. So I'd ask for them to go for counseling so that they're able to be aware of what marriage entails and the challenges ahead, so that they make the best choice as a couple.
So one thing you've raised very important is that if you want to get married, it's very important to do premarital counseling. And these things will be addressed there, especially finances, how to live together, how to walk that journey. So if somebody doesn't have a job, what would be the consequences of getting married? If this guy was pressured and got married, what will happen in their marriage, most likely?
Even how would they finance that marriage? Because you see, probably now there are expenses that come with a wedding and a marriage. So a good premarital course should be able to address those issues and give the couple clarity, so that when they are making that decision, they are aware. They may not necessarily be fully prepared for marriage, but at least they have information and knowledge that will help them make better choices.
Yes. So premarital counseling is important for you who is asking this question. Begin there. Go look for somewhere you can do premarital counseling. Don't be pressured. Don't give in. Don't start pleasing her so that you don't lose her. Either way, you will lose her. When you marry her without money, she'll discover it's even harder. She will quit again. It's better she quits before. So go find somewhere you can do very nice premarital counseling, and these things will come out when hard questions are asked. We'll be right back to Coffee with Charles after this break. Hold on, we'll be back. Welcome back. This is Coffee with Charles, and this is Charles Wachira. I'm joined by Rosie Wachira, as I'd introduced her earlier. She's a counseling psychologist. So we go on to question number 5 for this episode, and I read it. Hello, Charles. I'm 36 years old, and I'm not married, because the guys I have dated are not mature and do not want to settle. Recently, a man approached me and we've been dating for 6 months. I love him. He's mature and wants us to tie the knot. However, I discovered he's married with 2 kids. I was devastated because of the lie. But after some time, he said he wants me to be a second wife. I'm really confused because I love him. What do I do? Love. This woman loves this guy, even if he has another wife. What does this woman need to do?
Yeah, maybe the woman needs to ask herself what exactly she wants, because she had earlier said that the other guys were not mature and don't want to settle. And this one who wants to settle is married. And unfortunately, that's how at times it goes. At times the married men tend to be better because of the practice they've had with their wives. So when a woman comes to the man, or the man goes to the woman, he knows how to handle a woman and what a woman wants. So he appears to be mature and appears to want to settle. Unfortunately, he's a taken man. So this lady needs to ask herself, what exactly does she want? Does she want to be a second wife? Is she okay with that? Because the way it's going, he will go to another one and then have a third and a fourth wife. So is she also willing to equally allow another woman who finds her husband to be mature and settled to also marry her? So she needs to ask herself, where do I fish these men who are immature and don't want to settle? And personally, I believe when a man doesn't want to settle, there's a reason why. There's a reason why. So could it be that she's looking at the wrong man? Could it be that what she is aspiring towards is not practical or realistic? She must soul search and ask herself, what is it that she wants, even before she attaches herself with another man.
And you see, her age is 36.
Yeah.
She's not joking. I mean, when a woman is 36, it's not like 26. In fact, 26 is where the thought of settling is firm. And now she's 10 years later, this woman really wants to settle. And the challenge is, this man is also the kind of a man that has settled, has children, and is providing that feeling of a settled man, because now she's looking for a settling man. And unfortunately, maybe the guys who she has come across, as she says, they are jokers. They are guys who just want fun. And I think many women are finding themselves in this situation, and they are feeling it's easier to settle for a second wife with a mature man. And that man also, I think, is attracted to this woman because she's a younger woman who is single, but not a college girl who is troubled with a lot of things of youthfulness. So maybe they are meeting a certain need. And this issue is becoming prominent in this city because the man's need is being met. Maybe his wife is a bit older, maybe she's 46. and she's
But I'm sure he married her when she was young.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So maybe this girl is reminding her where the wife was.
So would the husband allow another man to remind the wife where he was? Yeah, because both of them are getting old.
Yeah.
It's only that the man, again, and that's the thing that you are saying. Again, in society, we have married men who are preying on unmarried women or younger women.
Very young.
So even the man himself seems not to have settled as a married man.
Yes.
And maybe if the two of them are okay, then they need to hook up. But the lady must understand that this man, if he's not settled in a marriage with this lady, who according to him may be old, yet he's not young himself, and the lady will still get old, he will definitely
look for another
younger woman with time. So someone must be content and ask themselves, what is enough for me in a marriage? What is enough for me?
Yeah.
Because as long as you don't settle, they'll always be beautiful, younger women, more wealthier, older men. So if you're not settled with your man, you'll always be looking for other options.
And I think maybe to address the man, I think there's an issue with men who are maybe 45 onwards. They begin to feel like, I need to get my game going again. So you go back to college, look for a 25-year-old, but now they are maybe feeling like the 25-year-old is nice, but kiddish, because kanata kimbia here and there, ice cream and chocolate. But this guy he's used to a grown-up woman who is a wife, and he wants some fun around the corner. So there's been that thing of a man leaving his wife, going to dance around with this girl. But again, they don't go far because this girl is too young. So maybe even this one is more complicated because it reminds him of a more mature woman. He looks like a version of his wife 10 years ago or younger. So it becomes even more complicated. But I'm thinking the complex is also the woman needs a man like that, because the others for her are jokers. Now, are we facing a scenario where this man has not told the woman? I don't even think he can mention it to his wife. These are those days you came home and told your wife, I'm getting a second wife. You'll be taken to court. You'll be bashed. I think even the fear is that the man will really be in trouble. The woman will accept this. So men are caught up in this trap. And I think the answer is that men have to accept to settle for what they have. It's painful. The adventure is tempting, but the consequences are so severe that even if you take the 36, in 10 years you'll be 46, you will look for another 36 when you're 56. Then you look at 66, you'll be looking for another 36. It just keeps their growing older. So maybe tulia muzee bwana, and we msichana manze, just get your age mate. Tafuta wa 38 hapo mutembe, maybe a mature or even a 40-year-old, then settle.
I also hope the lady is not being pressurized. Like you said, the age for women is big than on men. So woman is feeling, I'm almost expiring. So I'm desperate to settle. Yeah. And at times when you're in that spot, seldom do you make a better choice. Because you're basing it on a circumstance which will not be there permanently. You understand? So maybe for the ladies to ask herself, can I live with being 36 and married until I get the right man for me?
Yes.
And can I be able to withhold and withstand the pressure of society? Yes. Always being told, when will you get married? When are we getting grandkids? Maybe also we need to be sensitive to ladies who are not married.
Yes.
At times there's so much going on. It's not so easy. It's not an easy choice for them. So we have to be sensitive how we communicate and even interact with them, and even the jokes we make, so that we do not pressurize a girl to settle for less, so that she pleases us, yet she's the one who will be living in that marriage.
Yes.
Yeah, so for the ladies just to remember, you must search yourself and ask yourself, why is it that you now are willing to settle to be a second wife? Is that a choice that you're making based on out of your informed deliberate, decisive decision, or is it because of where you feel you are in life at this point now, and you feel you need to make that choice so that you move to the next stage in life? Because remember, it's your life.
Yes.
It's not society's life.
Yes.
So you choose, and you make a choice that you live with and be happy with.
Yes. So don't succumb to pressure. Please make a wise choice. You love him, but there will be trouble if you go that way without thinking. So don't succumb to pressure. This has been Coffee with Charles. Thank you so much, Rosie Wachira, for being on this show. It has been a pleasure to have you and to hear those answers. And we are closing here this episode. We'll be back in the next episode. Please subscribe and remember to hit that notification button so that you can get this content whenever we release it. And don't forget to ask your question by sending your question on that WhatsApp number, or leave your question on the comment section. Until next time, this has been Coffee with Charles. Till next time, see you.
Bye.
Bye.